Hey, what's up everybody? It's Coach Matt, EliteThrowsCoaching.com, Primal Athlete Training Center, Cranston, Rhode Island. So, it is track season. I can tell because I have more athletes throwing with me on Sunday than all summer and all fall. More and more people are emailing me, bitching about their coaches and bitching about how much running they are doing. So I know it's track season and we got to get this glide shot series wrapped up. So what we've basically done over the course of the past few weeks is we've taken you from holding the ball in your hand, the release drills, power position, the back of the circle, and drills to teach your athletes to land in a proper position, starting out in the back of the circle and landing in a proper power position, kind of putting it all together, step by step by step. Today what we want to cover, and I want to go over, is the major culprit, the big thing that is keeping you from throwing as far as you possibly can. You can have somebody that starts out really, really well in the back. You can have somebody that has a great power position throw, a great standing throw, but putting it together, there's one big culprit, one big thing that's going to negatively affect how far you can throw more than anything else, and that's shifting weight when you land in the power position. So what we mean by shifting weight, we know that in the power position, you want to have all of your weight back behind your power foot. So as a right-handed thrower, I'm going to have my right foot underneath my body, just like a fulcrum underneath the seesaw. And we want to have the shot, my head, my shoulders, and my center of mass, which is pretty much the primal shirt that I'm wearing right now. The center of mass is going to be behind that foot. When you shift weight, you have too much weight on the blocking foot. The shot is in between your feet, the center of mass is in between your feet, and your head is in between your feet. So all of your weight, pretty much your entire center of mass, your upper body, from your midline, like your belly button up, is inside of your legs. So when you go to throw, all of your weight has shifted onto your blocking foot too early. And you don't have the ability to push with your power leg. So you're losing a ton of power, but your leverage is also not as good as it could have been. Great way that I can explain this to you is by calling you a seesaw. If you imagine a seesaw and you put weight like a shot put on one side, if the fulcrum was right in the middle and you stepped or you dropped a giant boulder on one side, then it's going to go flying. The shot put's going to go really, really far. If you had the shot put near the middle, near that fulcrum, and then drop that big boulder or slam down on one side, it's just going to dribble a couple of feet. So we want the weight on the end of the seesaw. We want the weight as far away from that power leg as possible, as far out as possible, so that we can push all of that seesaw, all of that lever up and into the throw. So shifting weight, landing out of that glide position with all of your weight back, shifted, and nothing on that power leg is a major culprit. Here are some causes. The first big cause that we see is that athletes don't start the right way. So normally the way that you start is the way that you finish. So if athletes start in the back of the circle this way, and they already have their weight in between their feet, when they glide, more than likely they're going to land with their weight in between their feet. The way that you start is the way that you finish. So we want to make sure that the athlete has their hips over their ankle. So we're going to sit down. We're going to get our head and our shoulders back, almost so that we're looking outside of the circle. If you have a little cement pad, then you should be looking onto the grass. Over here, keeping the hips over the ankle rather than having the hips behind the ankle. If we start this way, more than likely, we're going to land that way. So start here, glide, land here. Another big cause is when athletes don't have the strength to push back off their heel, and they take their head and shoulders and throw their head and shoulders backwards to get across the circle. So they might start in a great position here, and then when they go to glide, they pull the leg in, and they use their head and shoulders to give them more speed and more power across the circle. And you can see what happens. You still land in a bad position. Now, there are other reasons too. Those are the big ones. The other reasons are opening up too early. So we'll have athletes who start in a great position, and then we'll open up too early. And now your weight has shifted back onto that blocking leg, no longer having anything on the power leg. Okay? So those are the main culprits. Those are the three big ways that athletes shift weight too early, lose their leverage, and don't have anything to put into the throw because they don't have any weight on the power foot, on that power leg, when they land in the power position. Okay? So if you're having trouble putting the steps together, if you start out in a pretty good position, but you're landing in a very bad position with your weight already shifted, you have to make sure that you keep your hips over your ankle in the back, that you stay nice and low when you glide, and that you take this power leg and pull it underneath you. If you can do all of that, you pretty much are going to guarantee that you're landing with your weight back behind the power foot, and you'll have good leverage, and you'll be able to put more power and more force into your throw. All right, so hopefully this makes sense and answers a lot of questions that have been coming in, because again, it's the beginning of track season. People have not been practicing like they should have during the summer and during the fall, and they're starting out from scratch without having done anything in 6 to 7 months, wondering what's going wrong. Guaranteed, 90% of those people who are sending in emails wondering what's going wrong, shifting weight is the problem. Thanks so much for checking out the video. We want you guys to make sure to check out EliteThrowsCoaching.com and to check out the Elite Throws Coaching channel on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos that you can watch to give you ideas, to give you tips and tricks and drills to perfect your form and throw farther this season. The season is very early, so make sure you guys check out EliteThrowsCoaching.com, sign up for the online team, watch the videos. No more complaining about not having a coach. The resources are there. You just have to look, take the time, and take advantage of all the free stuff that's available to you. Any questions, let me know. Check that stuff out, and I'll talk to you real soon.